In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to turn this Excel spreadsheet into this modern web application. We'll add drop-down filters, create a table and chart, making the data easy to explore. And the best part, you don't need to know HTML, JavaScript, or any web development. All it takes is a few lines of Python code. So let's jump in. We're going to be using 3 libraries for this application. So we're going to be using Streamlit, Pandas, and Plotly. Now, Streamlit allows us to create the web browser application. Pandas allows us to manipulate the data, and Plotly allows us to create a chart. Now, if we were using Anaconda, we install them from our Anaconda prompt using these commands. And if we're not using Anaconda, we can install them using pip. So if you want to install Streamlit on Anaconda, you would simply go to the Anaconda prompt and type this, and then hit enter. And you'll see that it will start to install the Streamlit library. Now, this took about 2 minutes to install on my computer, so it shouldn't take too long unless you've got a very slow computer. And once we've installed all these packages, we can move on then to looking at the code. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import our libraries. We use st as the alias for Streamlit, and that simply means that we can refer to Streamlit using st in our code. And we use pd for pandas, and we use px for plotly. The first thing I like to do in a project is list out the tasks as comments. And the first thing we're going to do is load the data. So that's from the Excel file into a pandas data frame. And then we're going to write the page heading and subtitle, which is pretty straightforward. And after this, we'll add the controls. And these are the controls we're going to use to filter our data. So they're basically drop-down controls. Then we'll apply the filter that we specified in that controls to the data. And then finally, we're going to display the data, and we're going to display it in a table, and we're going to display it on a chart. So the first task we're going to do is load the data from our Excel file into a pandas data frame. And we use the pandas read Excel function to do this. Now, a data frame, in simple terms, is like a VBA two-dimensional array. It's got a list of rows and columns. Now, when we've got that done, the next thing we're going to do is simply write out the page heading, and we're going to write out the subtitle. So now that we've something that's displaying in the browser, let's run the code and see exactly how it works. So to get this to run in the browser, what we do first of all is we're just going to compile the code using Control F5. Now, what you'll see here is that it gives us the instructions on how to run this in our browser. We basically run Streamlit run and the name of the file. So if it's in the folder, we don't obviously need the folder name. So I'm going to just change this to my environment. So I'm activating the environment where I have Streamlit installed. So that's all I'm doing here. If you don't have it in a different environment, you don't need to do this. And then I'm going to run that line of code. So when I run it, what it does then is tells me the URL where I can find this app. But what it'll actually do as well is it will automatically open this URL in the browser. And you can see it here. So you can see that it says car sales leaderboard as the header, and then the subheader is Explore Ireland's top selling cars. Now we're going to create the 2 drop-down controls that allow the user to filter the data. So first of all, we just put the header text, and then we want to get the data for our drop-down. So we get all the brands in our data frame, in the data frame column brand. We get the unique values, and then we sort them, and then we finally add the text all brands to that list. And that gives us our final list that we'll add to our dropdown. So in Streamlit, the dropdown is called a select box, and it takes the parameter, which is basically the text beside it. So that's what we use as a label in, say, a kind of desktop app. And then we pass it the data, which is brands. Now, select brand will have the return value. So when the user selects something, it'll be placed in selected brand. Now we want to do the very same thing for our fuel types. So we're just doing the same thing again, except with the fuel type data. Now when we save the file, what you'll notice in the browser window is this change. It says file change, and we can select rerun or always rerun, meaning always rerun when the file is saved. Now I'm going to click on always rerun. And you can see that it's reloading the window. So this reloads all the script. And you can see now that we have our 2 drop downs here. So if you look in brands, we have all the different brands. And if we look in fuel types, you can see we've got the different fuel types. So very straightforward to create this drop-down in our code. Now, once the user makes a selection, we want to apply the filter. So if the selected brand variable does not contain the value all brands, so in other words, it contains a brand, then we want to filter the data. So the way we filter is like this. We assign the brand column and we basically say, give us back all the records where the brand column equals what we've selected. So what's in selected brand. And we'll place this in our data frame. Now we do exactly the same for fuel type. And when we have this done, then we want to sort the records and we put the results of the sort in the filtered data frame. And that's what we're going to use to display our table and to display our chart. So now we're going to display the data in our table. So first of all, we write out the heading. So we just use the subheader function. And next of all, then we want to check if the data frame is empty. Because if there's no data, we want to give the user that information. We don't want to just display an empty table. So we do an else then, and in this case, we're going to create the table. So in Streamlit, the table is actually called data frame, and we'll give it 3 parameters. Now the first is the data frame that we want to display. The second one is the width. So we want to stretch our table to the width of the screen. And finally, then we want to hide the index from the data frame. Now you can see we're refreshing our browser, and you can see now that we've got the header leaderboard, and you can see here we have our table. And it's in the order of sales descending. So we're going to select a brand and we're going to select Audi. And again, it refreshes the screen. And now you can see that we've just got Audi in our table. And if we select the fuel type of electric, again, it refreshes and you can see that we now have electric. And finally, if we go back and select all the brands, when it refreshes again, what you'll see is that we now have all the brands included. So that's how simple it is to create a table. So finally, we're going to display our chart. And we want our chart to display the total sales by fuel type by year. So we use the group by function to get our data into this format. We're going to set the index to false and we're going to sum the sales. And this will give us the results like you can see here. Now next we create our line chart using Plotly, and we simply pass it the data frame. We're setting X as the year, Y for the sales, and we set color to be fuel type. Now what that means is that we've got one line per fuel type, and then markers equals show means show the markers on our line chart. And finally, then when we have this done, we give the line chart over to Streamlit, which uses Plotly chart to display it in our browser. And now you can see here our chart sales by fuel type. And you can see we've got the year on the x-axis and we've got the lines which are all the fuel type. Now what you might notice is that the year has decimal places, so we need to do one small change. So not to use numbers, to make the year a category instead. And so we simply say x-axis is a dictionary and it's of a type category. So we don't want to split up the numbers like it has done here. And now you can see that it's just done the years 24, 25 and 26. If you'd like to see more really cool stuff we can do with Python, then check out these videos.